Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, Destruction, in Kobe. We had a really great show. We've had since the G1, since everybody been back after the G1, we've been having several shows that have been leading to this show. So pretty much the road to destruction of Kobe. And I have not reviewed those shows because honestly, I would have sounded like a broken record. Like New Japan have been using this past like 2 to 3 weeks to tell stories that were already established during the G1. And honestly, I felt like some of those shows were unnecessary for them to have, or maybe they could have put a focus on different things. Now, there were some people that were not there during the G1 that needed to be part of stories, so I could understand that part. Gabe Kidd being injured, so Shingo Takagi was having his own little beef by himself throughout the G1, and Gabe was never able to respond to him, so they've been catching up with that story. Our Uncle Ishii hasn't been in the G1, and also he had been in AEW, and he didn't come back until last week to New Japan, so catching up with that as well. I understood what they were going with, but I felt like a lot of it was a little bit unnecessary. But overall, we had a really good show. All those stories leading to the show that we had tonight. So we started the night off with a multi-man match with some of the bigger names within New Japan that are not in like the main event stories or whatnot. So these are the guys that are pretty big but not doing anything too important. El Desperado teaming up with Shota Umino, Yoshihashi, and Yuya Uemura to go against House of Torture, which is Dick Togo, Doki, Evil, Sonata, and Sho. They toe it up for the opening match, pretty much getting real hyped up for the show. Now, everybody has obviously been feeling some type of way about House of Torture, and honestly, as annoyed that I was with them throughout the G1, as heels, they've actually done a really great job to get people to really just hate their guts, and I'm actually loving it. I'm not so bothered right now. Now that the competition, the G1 is over, I'm not so bothered by their antics at this point. However, we're starting to show off, and they want everybody to be happy coming into the show. So the baby faces end up taking the win with Yuya Uemura taking the win, pinning Dick Togo, which obviously just seems to be the normal thing to do. We're going to use a useless one to be pinned, which I was okay with. But this won't be the last that we see the House of Torture tonight. After this, we do have the Great Okan going against our president, the only president I acknowledge, President Hiroshi Tanahashi. This was a really great match. Now, I'm gonna say this, like, y'all gonna be noticing, like, y'all gonna see a lot of Tanahashi, not just within New Japan, but within the affiliate promotions that they work with, because this is the last few months that he has I want to say 97 days left before his last match. So people are going to be coming out of the woodworks and just be challenging him, trying to see what they can get out of him before he hang the boots up. This was a pretty good match here. We've seen them in the ring a couple of times before throughout their times within New Japan. However, President Tanahashi, he's not always winning, but he did take the win tonight. The match was okay, and I think everybody is seeing that, hey, he's still doing pretty decent in the ring despite his time being literally numbered. After the match, though, we had Kaito Kiyomaya. Oh, I'm probably gonna butcher this. Kiyomaya. There we go. Kiyomaya from Noah, who comes on over, and he is just like, "Hey Ace, congratulations on your win. But we're doing a show on October 8th, and you're needed. You're needed." President Tanahashi is a nice guy, so he said yes, and I'm just like, "Oh, okay. Well, he's not doing anything on October 8th, so he'll be over there." Not bad. Now, no, actually, no, not October 8th. I think it's October 10th. I'm not good with dates, but whatever. So there's a show that's going to be coming up. He's going to be going over there. And like I said, people are going to be challenging him. I probably wouldn't be surprised to see President Tanahashi possibly doing like or maybe a Wrestle Dream, or maybe one of the last few pay-per-views that AEW has. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him a call just to do one more thing over there in AEW. But we'll see where that's going. Now after this, we have Oleg Boltin. Lord have mercy. He is a beautiful specimen. He currently has the Never Openweight Championship that he won from Takeshita a few months back before the G1. And he has been having a story going on with Don Fale. I know Don Fale, the really big one within House of Torture. So they've been, beefing for a little bit. And here we are finally with them having a title on the line. Obviously, it wouldn't be House of Torture if Evil and Dick Togo wasn't out there keeping their eyes on things and ultimately getting involved. Now, I can't stress this enough. I know people are tired of the whole House of Torture thing. Like I said, now that the tournament's over, I'm not bothered by the heel tactics. But I think people are over it at this point because they did overdo it, I think, during the G1. Now, I didn't feel like Don Fale was going to win. I thought that this was going to be the opening to someone else in the group wanting to feud with him for the title, and that's exactly what it was. Even though they got involved and this pretty much became a handicap match, Oleg Boltin retained, but then immediately, as soon as they count to 3, House of Torture come into the ring, they start slapping his ass out. And then that's when I was like, it's Evil. It's Evil. Evil is the one who wants to go for the title. So, all this was just, a little something, a little stepping stone before we had the actual person who wanted to go for his title, which is Evil. So Evil stood above Oleg Boltin, and he was raising the Never Openweight title like, bitch, I'm next. Let me see if you're going to beat me like you just beat Don Fale. Don Fale, he's like 300 something pounds. He was standing on Oleg Boltin's back and just crushing this man. And I was just like, holy shit. Like, I felt like I couldn't breathe for him because that's how heavy he looks. And I'm pretty sure, obviously, over 300 pounds is heavy as fuck. Don Fale, I think he's just one of those bigger, meaty guys who get in the ring. When I see him in a ring, I'm not necessarily wowed or anything like other bigger guys, but he's definitely like, the heavy of the group. I don't want to say muscle, but he's definitely one of those guys because he's a bigger guy. He typically goes out there and just kills people, but in a match setting, it's not the same type of vibe because now you have to incorporate actual wrestling, which you're trying to kill someone. However, Oleg Boltin had the better of him, taking the win, but now he's going to have to go against Evil, and that is not looking good for the title. All right. Oh my God. This one right here. And I was like, look, I told myself, I was like, let me do my little predictions. I did talk about it a little bit on my live stream. And I was like, the only title that I thought was going to change hands would be the tag titles. So we do have Taichi and good uncle Ishii with the IWGP Tag Championships going against the Knockout Brothers, who had just came back the last day of the G1. They are part of the War Dogs, for anyone who didn't know. And it's Oscar and Yoto Ice. Yoto Ice. There we go. Personally, Oscar, I look at him, I'm like, all right, you're young. I see something in the look. I see something in terms of you need more experience, and then we'll talk about it in like another year or two. Yoto Ice, I think he's good in the ring. However, for people of color, you're probably going to be like, why he acts like this? He acts like some type of Asian Jamaican person or whatever. I don't know if people will actually think this is cute or whatever. I don't know. I'm not bothered because I just see this so much that I'm just like, whatever. He's going to figure out what works for him at some point, and maybe this won't be it. However, I put all that aside, and I wanted to see how well those actually going to do. They've been having some issues with Taichi since Taichi has been around. When Ishii finally came back last week, is when Ishii started getting incorporated in the story, and they whooped his ass a week ago. And here we are with the tag team titles on the line. I was really impressed. I was really impressed with them as a team. Was there a couple of hiccups? Yes. However, they are really good. And this match was one of the more intense matches of the night because it was just so close in terms of every inch of their lives. Taichi and Ishii were trying to hold on to these titles. However, let's just be real. The younger team had the stamina. I guess you can say something about them. They had a little bit of charm in the ring together. And I was just like, I would actually not mind seeing them win to see where this would actually go. And surprise, surprise, they ended up taking the win. Like, I was literally at the edge of my bed, just like, oh shit, like, this is really good. Taichi and Ishii didn't really get a chance to do much with this title because, the G1, Ishii going to AEW, and I was just like, I wish we got a chance to see more out of them. And I think what made people cheer for them more in this sense is because they're the veterans of the company. People love Taichi. They love Ishii. Like, who's going to boo them? But then you see these young cats are just coming back from excursion, and you're just like, holy shit, look at how well they're able to hang with Ishii and Taichi. And I was thoroughly impressed. They end up snagging the titles. It was really, really good. However, before they can even celebrate, Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura was just like, alright, bitch, don't get too happy, because we're already ready to get them titles off of you. Now, they didn't say when, but I'm guessing they're going to save that title match for King of Pro Wrestling. I'm sure that they're going to be doing. I don't know yet. But I would be interested to see where it goes because I was really impressed with how well they did. And I don't necessarily see them taking the titles off of them so quickly to get to Yuya and to Shota. But hey, it's pro wrestling. You never know how long he'll be champion. Congrats. This was actually one of the best matches of the night. Now after this, we had Hiromu Takahashi putting his GHC title on the line against Taiji Ishimori. I thought that the match was okay. I wasn't going Google Gaga over it. My daughter liked it. She loves Takahashi, so whatever. She's impressed with whatever he does. Most of the match was literally Takahashi holding on his shoulder and just oohing and ahhing. Ow, this hurts. But he's doing his thing. And honestly, I get it in terms of when the wrestlers play into injury, especially like old injuries, and they want you to believe that their opponent has a really high chance of taking it. But I didn't think this was going to be the case. Like, this was is this his first title defense with this title? Yeah, he just won it a few weeks ago. So, his first title defense with the New Japan for sure. So I was just like, all right, he's not losing. However, he retains. And then we had a wrestler from Noah. Don't know his name. He look cute, but he comes on over and he challenges for the title for the same show that Kaito came and asked President Tanahashi to go over there for that. So for Wrestle Odyssey and Noah on October 10th. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. Maybe a couple of more New Japan wrestlers might end up going over there. Overall, I do feel like Taji is a little underrated. I would love to see a little bit more opportunities of him being able to stand out in terms of the War Dogs. Like, there's a lot of big personalities within that group, and I feel like at times he falls behind, and I want to see him having a little bit more opportunities in terms of showing his personality, whether it was in promos or in the ring. He did a really great job, but definitely wasn't going to get the title. We had another decent matchup before we got to our two main events. We had Yota Tsuji going against David Finlay. David Finlay, I really like him. However, Yota Tsuji, I think I like him a little more. They gave us a really great matchup, and honestly, it didn't really matter to me in terms of who was going to end up winning, but I did feel like as close as David Finlay was to, I don't want to say winning a G1, but he shot up pretty quickly and could have possibly made the finals, but unfortunately the numbers games did play a role in why he couldn't get there. But I am looking at him in terms of him being a leader of the War Dogs, and I feel like I need to see more wins. I need to see more dominance from him. So ultimately, I think this would have been a great win for him, but Yota Tsuji took the win. Now, I will say, more and more, despite him losing, I think he's winning people over in terms of his wrestling ability. But the wins are needed when you are literally a leader of a faction like War Dogs. Like these, Bullet Club is a legendary faction, and people don't necessarily know. Like if you don't watch New Japan, you don't necessarily know what the hell is going on with Bullet Club. And I wish we had better representation in terms of a leader, and I do think that he is capable of doing that, but too many L's when it matters the most is what's keeping him from being a better leader. Really, really great matchup. Yota Tsuji with the win, and this guy right here, like, he's fucking amazing in the ring and should be one of the top guys in the company. Now, for what I was waiting for, our boy Gabe Kidd, the IWGP World Global Heavyweight Champion, going against Shingo Takagi. Shingo Takagi had already called out Gabe since Gabe was already eliminated from the G1 due to the injury, and he had been saying that he a little pussy and that he should vacate the title. Gabe, not being able to participate, had not been able to respond to anything until after the whole G1 thing was over and all that good stuff. So once that had been over, now they've been really been able to be physical with each other in these multi-man matches that they've been having these past couple of weeks. So here we are finally with the title on the line, and they were literally willing to kill each other to make sure the last guy standing could be holding the title. And Shingo, I appreciate everything that man does in the ring. He is amazing, and I love his YouTube channel. I don't know what he's saying, but I just love watching him. And, you know, he gives it all, and it was pretty brutal between the two of them. And the crazy thing about it is that Gabe Kidd, he has this thing about him. Like, I know people keep looking at him, and they're just like, oh, you know, AEW should hire him, or WWE, or whoever it is. And I am saying, New Japan, if y'all know what's good for y'all, y'all going to hold on to Gabe. Hold on to this guy, because I feel like there is not just money, but like a huge future for him. And I think that in terms of New Japan going the right path, they need someone like Gabe Kidd to be part of their roster. My favorite move of the whole night was Shingo hitting a Made in Japan onto two tables outside of the ring from the apron. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The match was brutal, and you can see both of these guys like literally killing each other. They're using them cheap ass chairs they like to use that are literally breaking with the slightest touch. They got the tables. They're going throughout the crowd. They're throwing each other around, and I am absolutely in love. However, Gabe, he's been injured for like a month or so. He had some time in AEW when he got better. And we haven't really got a chance to see him defend this title. We haven't got a chance to see him as a champion with this title. And I wanted him to retain. The crazy thing about it is when you have a tournament right after people are winning titles, you're not able to see like how people are as champions. Same thing with Taichi and Ishii. We didn't really get a chance to see them as champions because this tournament was right smack in the middle of it. And I was just like, look, if anything, Gabe has to retain. Let's see what he can do as a champion, because I feel like the future will be bright with him as one of the top guys in New Japan. He ends up retaining. Shingo obviously not happy about losing again. And, you know, they end up dapping each other, and we're just going to move on. However, we can't celebrate too long because Yota Tsuji already coming out there and saying, I'm next. I am next. October 13th, King of Pro Wrestling, I want the title. And I love how he stands there and he's smiling about everything. And he's so cute, smiling at Gabe. And Gabe is just like, bitch, I'm ready. Bring it on. Now, our main event, we have the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Our champion, Zack Sabre Jr., going against Ren Narita. Ren Narita did beat Zack Sabre Jr. At the G1 climax. And since he did beat him, then he had this is his opportunity to go for the title since he's champion. This here, I'm going to say, is not for everyone. And I am one of those people, I love technical wrestling. Like, I'm always just like goo goo gaga drooling over technical wrestlers. However, I don't think that this is something that everyone is going to enjoy because of their style. The pacing of this match is different from what you just got with Shingo and Gabe. And if you're not into that slow pacing, the constant locking and, trying to have someone submit, then maybe this might not be for you. However, there is drama with House of Torture being out there. Referee getting bumped, kicked, and thrown all over the place. So Red Shoes is down. And House of Torture is out there doing the most. Even Sonata has them red, ugly rain boots that he be wearing, stomping out Zack. And I'm just like, leave him alone. Leave him alone. It got to the point where the Young Lions had to get involved and get House of Torture out of there. So they're not completely useless. Zack Sabre Jr., he ends up taking the win anyway because there was just no way that he was going to lose tonight. And that's obvious because Takeshita is supposed to go against the winner of this match. Takeshita said, look, I'm not waiting for Wrestle Kingdom 20. I'm not going to wait till then for my title shot. I want the title as soon as possible. That match will be taking place at King of Pro Wrestling. So it only makes sense for Zack Sabre Jr. and Takeshita to go at it again. For those of you who did not watch the G1, Takeshita and Zack already had 2 matches during the G1 climax. First match, Takeshita was treated like a rag doll. I've never seen Takeshita treated like that ever in the ring. Zack Sabre Jr. was not playing with him at all. The second time they went against each other, it was neck and neck, but Takeshita had the best of our champion. And then now we're going to have it for the third time, but this time for the title now that we're outside of the G1. Since Takeshita did win the G1 climax, he'll be going for this title. I love both these guys a lot. Zack a little bit more, obviously. That's my guy. So it wouldn't have made sense for Zack to lose this title tonight. Just for Ren to have it for 3 weeks just to give it to Takeshita. So none of that makes sense. Zack does have at least one title defense that I could think of until then, which will be in China. And I don't see him losing it then either. So, he's still got a few matches in between then. But obviously, everybody's going to be waiting for the King of Pro Wrestling event because I do believe that this is where we're going to crown Takeshita as the new IWGP World Champion. Overall, the show I thought was good. We had some really great matches throughout the show. I just wish that we had stronger storylines. And I'm not going to make a big deal of it because I'm feeling like once our president, put the boots away, that's when they're really going to have to put their thinking caps together and try to put New Japan on a new path, a better path. I think it's great, but we still need to be able to cater to foreign fans. We still have to catch that magic of what New Japan used to be. Or if it's not what it used to be, a new type of magic, I guess, if that makes sense, in terms of where we're going with New Japan in the future. Overall, the matches, we always get great quality matches, but people are going to want to stick around. The stories and the people who are clearly at the top is what's going to keep people staying and watching consistently. If you didn't watch the show, go ahead and check it out. King of Pro Wrestling will be on is it October 18th? I feel like it's October 18th. Whatever situation is, I'll update you guys on that so you can see if our boy Takeshita is going to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And I know a lot of you guys are rooting for him. I will be doing a live stream for that show. Until then, y'all can catch me here for all the other type of reviews that I do. I'll see you guys then. Bye.